Morning, everybody, and welcome back to Gearhead Daily. Today, we're going to talk about the megalomaniac Elon Musk having another moment where he decides he's going to lay off a bunch of people to save the organization. Now, on the surface, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but Musk's behavior in the last couple months has been fairly erratic, and however you feel about him, smoking pot with Joe Rogan and a couple of the other things that he's been doing leads me to believe that he's maybe needs to step down. But let's go ahead and look through. So this is not the first time that Tesla has laid off people from their factory. Okay, so it is important to recognize that Tesla, while it is flush with cash, is also burning through cash at an enormous rate. Okay, so there's a number of ways in which you can not turn a profit but still have lots of money. And currently, right now, Tesla has a ton of money that it is burning through, but doesn't seem to have, be making a very good profit. Now, it misses regularly its target numbers that it tries to hit. I do believe it is too lofty, and I do believe that is Elon's fault. If you look at all his other projects that he's done, his tunnel boring machine, which he claimed was 1/100th or 1/10th the cost of a normal tunnel boring machine. If you start doing the math, it's actually the same exact price for essentially what he put was a roller coaster wheels on some casters on a car. It's basically essentially what he did, and it was a bumpy ride, and it was nowhere near what he claimed it would be. So I've got my own opinions about him, but let's go through the article. So apparently he sent this email at 1:20 in the morning, and they're said, just may signal the end of Tesla. I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk. I think he's a bit of a blowhard. I think he likes to think he invents things when in reality they've been invented years prior. However, I'm not sure it's the end of Tesla. I still think there's a lot of people out there who believe in him. Right? I disagree with that, but I still think that there are lots of people out there who believe in him, and they believe in him with their dollars, even though I think a lot of the science that he uses is not super great. So let's go through it. Have you ever gotten an email from your boss at 1 in the morning? I have, and usually it's not good. Well, this time it turns out it was technically 1:20 of California time. The email wasn't pretty, highlighting Tesla's numerous accomplishments over the year. He got down to business and another round of job cuts. This is not the first time this has happened. Now, an organization will do job cuts for a number of reasons, okay? Usually it's to cut costs or to reduce redundancy, and it's usually for the overall betterment of the organization, because it's easier to save the organization than it is to try and pay everybody and then lose everybody's job. So depending on how you look at it, it can be a good thing or a bad thing. Now, for those individuals who are losing their job, that is a bad thing, and that's not good. However, for the, many thousands of others who are keeping their job, that is good news. So there's two sides to it, and if you want to weigh it in some sort of, ethical dilemma, a few folks will have to suffer for the greater of many more. So it is a kind of sad reality sometimes of the economic system in which we live. So job cuts are necessary, Musk argues. Help the company meet unique challenges it faces, making our cars' batteries, whenever they hit their proposed numbers that they said they're going to make, and solar products cost competitive with fossil fuels, and is still too expensive for most people. This is true. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. When battery and electric technology finally catches up to the cost and ease of the gasoline-powered or diesel-powered automotive situation we're in, I'm more than happy to buy into it. And do I believe it's the wave of the future? Well, probably. But I think sometimes Elon is a, how do I put it for better phrase, a bit of a megalomaniac. His ideas are too lofty, too big in scale, and he's got too many of them. Mars, tunnels, Tesla. I mean, you can't hyper-focus on one thing So therefore you get stretched out and you get overworked and you get too stressed. And when he's talking about working 120 hours a week, that's entirely possible because he seems like the kind of person who would burn himself out that way. And if you read his ex-wife's testimony, or at least thoughts on their marriage, it totally fits with what you see on the outside perspective. So in my opinion, he's been doing a lot of things lately that worry me about the future. Not to say it's going to go down or anything like that. I still believe there's a lot of people willing to prop him up and prop up Tesla. But the problem is if you remove him currently from the situation, you will lose that confidence in Tesla itself, because the people who are there working at Tesla, I'm not sure have that kind of weird megalomaniac genius that kind of goes with it. I'm not saying he's a dumb guy. He's a pretty smart guy. I think, though, he's a bit stretched thin. So, and if you get rid of Musk, I think confidence just completely plummets out of it. So Tesla's in a really bad place. They're in a rock and a hard place. They can't keep him because he's starting to, get a little erratic and people are starting to get worried, but they can't get rid of him, because if they do, that means they're going to have issues getting funding, because a lot of people, I don't think, are buying into Tesla itself. I think people are buying into Elon himself. They believe his propaganda, his grandiose ideas, etc. Okay? But he goes on to say, he acknowledges that Tesla is competing against massive entrenched competitors, and employees must work harder than other manufacturers to survive. Yeah, other manufacturers, big ones. GM, Toyota, Honda, the Germans, even the English cars, the Italian cars, China, for example, are all nipping on the heels of this battery-powered electric car thing, and that's where it's going to go. And it says, all this hard work is worth it, Musk says, to support the mission of accelerating the advent of sustainable transportation and energy, which is important for life on Earth. Okay, let's just be clear about the laws of thermodynamics. You can never create nor destroy energy. You're just converting it from one thing to another. Are fossil fuels good? I don't know. People say that it's not. Okay, fine. I'm willing to accept that. Are people saying that electric cars are the wave of the future and it's going to save all of us? No, because the power's got to come from somewhere. You have to get the energy from somewhere. And solar technology is not it right now. You can do a combination of wind power, solar power, and some fossil fuels, and okay, we got some conservation issues going on. However, if we go to nuclear, which is, kind of at the moment the, best bang for the buck, although much more dangerous by and large, you still produce waste. You still produce emissions that are harmful to us and the planet. So for those of you who think, oh, this is going to be the, be all, electric cars are be all and end all, not so sure. So, but this message here that says you have to work harder than others to survive. Yes, true, but Tesla's been kind of pushing it pretty hard for a long time now, and you're probably going to burn a lot of people out. Everyone, including the world's car manufacturers, knows the continued use of fossil fuels is not sustainable. Yeah, possibly. No one can deny that those companies probably won't be invested in as clean energy as if they weren't for Tesla. That is probably true. So Tesla pushing for that electric market, although electric cars have been around for a really long time. First electric car, I think, was in the 1910s, as a matter of fact. Jay Leno has one. So it's not new, although how we're treating it is new. So, we must do everything to advance the cause. There are many companies that can offer a better work-life balance because they're larger. Yeah. Translation, you can go work somewhere else. Attempting to build affordable clean energy products at the scale necessary requires extreme effort and relentless creativity. So let's get rid of a bunch of people so that we can somehow share the load more? Okay. We have to advance the cause. Knowing what I know about Elon, that's BS. He can say that, oh, we know let's advance the cause. No, actually, I think it's so that he can remain at the helm. So he wants to say some nice words, but that's pretty typical of a CEO. They're going to try and rally the troops for this rah-rah thing. But the problem is that only lasts for so long until you start showing results. So it's likely that Musk believes his own rhetoric. That's true. What he's trying to achieve is getting people to buy into Tesla by saving the world. That's the whole mission. Well, Prius did that, and look at Prius. They can actually deliver when they say they're going to make 1 million cars. They actually do. But in the long run, it is hurting Tesla's employees. That is true. And as Elon said, in contrast, the most effective mission-driven organizations encourage balance and taking care of yourself. That is true. We are now in a working environment where work-life balance is a real thing. Okay, it's not work yourself to the bone anymore. It's work yourself to where you're the most productive. Because I know that when I'm tired, I'm not productive at all. Okay, but again, the best organizations encourage their people to get sleep and not send emails at 1 in the morning. Possibly true. But the big picture in view and treating their employees as real people as opposed to disposable commodities, which is never a good thing. The best organizations inspire loyalty. So this he needs to face this reality, and I tend to generally agree. But I found another article here quickly before we get this. But he has been known for rage firings. So is this another situation where Elon is rage firing people at 1 in the morning? Maybe, maybe not. But I can tell you that the stock price did take quite a hit. The market hasn't quite opened yet, but it did take quite a hit at this news a couple days ago when he did lay off a bunch of people. So Friday went from 350 down to we're now at 294 a share, which by the dip, if you believe in Tesla, it's been up at 350 for a long time. That seems to be its cap at the moment. But yeah, if you believe the dip, now's the time to buy. Anyway, hope this was helpful. What do you think? Elon a megalomaniac, or is he the next coming of Steve Jobs? Is he going to change and revolutionize the world? Anyway, let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.